Irrespective of whether it is their professional working partnership or their famous real-life romance, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos share a well-known relationship together. Ripa, on the other hand, recently surprised a lot of her followers by revealing that she was talking about her husband's other wife. It is also revealed that the duo is working on a project that they want to show to the audience. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos have been sharing their love story with the world ever since they got married in 1996. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos first interacted with one another while they were both working on the film All My Children. In addition to their roles as love interests on the soap opera, the couple ultimately tied the knot in real life in the year 1996. Since that time, audiences have witnessed the couple working together on a number of different projects. Live, Kelly and Mark is a chat show that they co-host together, and this encompasses all of their responsibilities. In addition, the couple is the subject of the documentary series Running with the Wolves, which was broadcast on ESPN and made its debut on July 29. As the pair negotiates the terms of their joint ownership of the Italian football team Campobasso Wolves, the series follows their journey. An episode of the series that was just recently made available to the public included Consuelos and Ripa participating in a video conference with their daughter Lola. Next, Mark receives a phone call from Matt Rizzetta, who is also a co-owner of the Wolves. When asked about it, Mark responded, "Oh my goodness, this is Matt. It is imperative that I go talk to Matt. I will be back in a moment." As a result of this, Ripa teased herself by saying, "Dad needs to talk to his other wife. It's Mark." Moreover, Consuelos has recently discussed the topic of purchasing. On the occasion of a confessional, Ripa spoke further on these remarks, sharing that she thought our investment would be a silent partner investment. She revealed that she did not realize that Mark's real work wife is Matt. She also shared that she thought our investment would be. The next question that Kelly posed to her husband was, "And I am now the what would you call me?" Mark taunted, "We're a throuple," while wearing a grin on his face. The situation was taken in a humorous manner by Ripa, who laughed and threw her head back. Consuelos, for his part, recently discussed the possibility of owning the franchise in an interview with ESPN. He shared, "This has been an incredible experience, but also a lot of pressure." He made this statement while pointing out that it has been a lot of labor. "Kelly is going to tell you how committed I have been. Everything from making calls with coaches at 3 in the morning to selecting players and even visiting with fans in person. Because of this, I now have a much better understanding of the requirements necessary to manage and expand a club. Aside from the fact that I played football when I was younger and while I was in college, this ownership role has entirely altered my outlook. In conjunction with our business partner, Matt Rizzetta, we have a strong sense of responsibility to this region and its supporters to continue to propel the team forward." It was supposed to be a light-hearted Monday morning on Live with Kelly and Mark. The audience was buzzing, the cameras were rolling, and Kelly Ripa was in her usual seat, smiling, glamorous, and ready to charm millions across the nation. But within minutes, the mood in the studio would shift from laughter to stunned silence. Because Kelly Ripa, the queen of daytime banter, was about to drop a bombshell. Mark has another wife. No one, not the crew, not the producers, not even her co-host husband Mark Consuelos, saw it coming. A morning like any other? Until it wasn't. The show opened with its usual upbeat energy. Mark was recounting a silly mishap involving their dog chewing through yet another remote control. And Kelly was laughing so hard she was nearly in tears. But then, just as Mark was launching into the next segment, Kelly leaned forward in her chair, raised one manicured finger, and said, "Wait before we move on. There's something I need to say." The audience chuckled, thinking it was another one of her quick-witted asides. "I've been keeping something to myself for a while now," she began, her voice taking on a strange mixture of seriousness and playfulness. "And since we're all about honesty on this show, I think it's time I come clean. Mark has another wife." The studio fell silent. Mark's jaw hits the floor, Mark froze, mid-sip of coffee. "Oh, what now?" he stammered, glancing at the producers as if to confirm he'd heard her right. "Yes," Kelly said, crossing her legs with theatrical precision. "Another wife. Living in? Well, technically in our house. But not in the same room. She's younger than me, taller than me, and frankly, she gets more attention from Mark than I do." Mark was shaking his head now, grinning nervously. "Honey, what are you talking about? You're making me sound like—" "She's also," Kelly interrupted, "a Peloton instructor." The audience gasped, then burst into laughter. The truth behind the other wife. As Mark buried his face in his hands, Kelly explained the story. It started last year when Mark bought a sleek new Peloton bike. At first, Kelly thought it was just another piece of fitness equipment that would sit in the corner collecting dust. But to her surprise, Mark began spending a lot of time on it. Too much time. "I'd wake up at 6 a.m. and hear him laughing in the basement," Kelly told viewers. "Not just laughing, flirting. Full-on charm mode. And I thought, who in the world is my husband talking to before sunrise?" It turned out Mark had a favorite instructor, a charismatic brunette named Jenna, who shouted encouragement through the screen while leading heart-pumping rides. "Every morning, it's Jenna this and Jenna that," Kelly said, rolling her eyes. "She tells him to push harder, and suddenly he's an Olympian. I ask him to take the trash out, and it's like I'm speaking another language." Mark interjected, "Okay, in my defense, Jenna doesn't make me take out the trash on my rest days." The audience eats it up. Once they realized Kelly's "another wife" line wasn't about an actual second marriage, but rather a tongue-in-cheek jab at her husband's exercise obsession, the audience erupted into applause. But Kelly wasn't done. "Oh, and let's not forget, on Valentine's Day, he took Jenna's class before he even said good morning to me," she said. "I got flowers at 3 p.m. Jenna got a sweaty, smiling Mark at 6 a.m. Mark, laughing now, said, "I can't believe you're telling the whole country this. You make it sound like I'm in some scandalous fitness love triangle." Producers try to reel it in. The show's producer, Gilman, could be seen off-camera waving his arms in mild panic. This wasn't the segment they had planned. But Kelly, sensing the goldmine of comedy, pushed on. "I've accepted it," she said with mock solemnity. "Every woman has to share her man with something. For some, it's golf. For others, it's fantasy football. For me, it's a 28-year-old cycling goddess named Jenna, who, by the way, doesn't sweat while she rides. Meanwhile, I walk up the stairs too fast and need a nap." Mark reached over, took Kelly's hand, and said, "For the record, you're my only wife. The Peloton is just my side hustle." Social media loses its mind. Within minutes, clips of the exchange hit social media. The hashtags #MarksOtherWife and #PelotonAffair started trending on X, formerly Twitter. One user wrote, "Kelly Ripa accusing her husband of having another wife, and it turns out to be his Peloton instructor, is the most relatable thing I've ever seen." Another joked, "Some men cheat with secretaries. Mark cheats with cardio." Even Peloton's official account got in on the fun, tweeting, "We're happy to mediate a sit-down between Kelly and Jenna to resolve this love triangle." A surprise cameo. Just when it seemed the segment had peaked, the control room threw a curveball. Jenna herself appeared live via video. "Hi, Kelly." "Hi, Mark," she chirped, glowing in perfect post-workout lighting. "Mark, great job on your ride this morning." Kelly feigned a gasp. "Oh, this is how it is now. She gets to praise you on national television?" Jenna laughed. "Don't worry, Kelly. He talks about you all the time. And by the way, you should join one of my classes." Kelly smirked. "Sweetheart, if I join one of your classes, there won't be a class. It'll be me grilling you about what you and Mark talk about at 6 a.m. The audience roared. Backstage banter. During the commercial break, sources say Kelly kept ribbing Mark about his other wife, telling crew members she was considering charging the Peloton rent. Mark, for his part, took the jokes in stride, even promising to take a week off from Jenna's classes to focus on his real marriage. "He'll be back on that bike by Thursday," Kelly muttered, smirking. The final word. When the show returned, Kelly wrapped the segment with her signature humor. "Listen, folks," she said, "marriage is about trust, compromise, and occasionally letting your husband have a parasocial relationship with a fitness instructor so he stays in shape. I just ask that he remembers who his first wife is." Mark leaned over, kissed her cheek, and said, "Always." The audience cheered, the cameras faded out, and somewhere in the background, Gelman sighed with relief. Of course, by the end of the day, the internet had firmly dubbed Jenna Mark's other wife, and Kelly seemed perfectly fine with it. After all, in the world of live, a little playful scandal is just part of the job.